We're driving on the A2 motorway north from Zagreb to Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia. On the way, we pass by fertile fields and tree-covered rolling hills. There's an occasional town nestled in the trees on the side of a hill. On the tops of some of the hills are castles and churches. We arrive in Ljubljana in the early afternoon and check into our hotel, the Zlata Ladica. It's in a 17th century building right on the river. It was totally renovated starting in 2018 and opened its 15 rooms in 2021. We take the opportunity to relax a little, but just a little. We need to explore this new city a bit. Our first impression is Amsterdam, but this is a river, not a canal, and the buildings are wider. We have a walking tour planned for tomorrow, so we'll collect our questions for our guide. The central city is a pedestrian zone. I wonder how the food and merchandise gets to the many restaurants and shops. The only boats on the river appear to be tourist boats. We have a boat ride scheduled for tomorrow. There's a real mix of architectural styles. More questions for our guide. There's everything from Baroque churches and Baroque mansions to Art Nouveau in all its various styles, with a lot of neo-Renaissance thrown in at random. The only thing you don't find in the city center is contemporary. And above it all is Ljubljana Castle. We have arrived at what appears to be a central square. Interesting statue. More questions. A block off the river, we find a shopping street. And there are some more churches. It looks like the Slovenes like their chocolate. What about dragons? They seem to be everywhere, even on the manhole covers. Walking along the riverfront promenade, there's an eclectic mix of shops and restaurants. Picked a restaurant offering skotkarela. We'd never heard of it before, so we had to try it. It's a Roman-style pizza. I washed it down with a Slovene version of Guinness. And back to our hotel. Waiting for us, we find some cookies and fruit for dessert. In the morning, we meet our guide Tasha and the rain. It looks like it followed us from Zagreb. This is the University of Ljubljana in all its Art Deco splendor. As we suspected, this is a main square, Prešeren Square, and the statue is of František Prešeren, the greatest Slovene poet, standing under his muse. But there's a twist to this statue. If you follow his gaze, you see this building across the square and another statue on the building. It's Julia Primic, the poetic muse and unrequited love of František Prešeren, gazing back across the square. The rain's getting heavier, so we hurry across the river to the central market for some cover. Spice cellars are always an interesting window into the cuisine of a place. And more dragons. Tasha tells us that the dragon is the symbol of Ljubljana. According to Greek legend, Jason and the Argonauts, on their way home, built the city of Emona as a winter shelter. Emona became part of Ljubljana. While here, Jason killed a dragon living in the marshes south of the city. Bronze dragons guard the Dragon Bridge and its Lovelock collection. The Dragon Bridge was opened in 1901. Baby dragons hold up the lampposts. The rain doesn't stop the kids from marching to school. We find some cover in the fruit and vegetable market. Time to visit Ljubljana Castle. The easiest way is the funicular. The castle was probably built in the 11th century and rebuilt in the 12th. Its present outline was an almost complete overhaul in the 15th century. The majority of the buildings in the castle date to the 16th and 17th centuries. The castle's viewing tower dates to 1848. A cannon was fired from the tower to warn the city in case of fire and to announce important visitors or events. Even with the inclement weather, the tower offers excellent views of the old town and beyond. There's our hotel. In the 19th century, the castle was used as a prison. In 1905, the city bought the castle with the plan to make it a museum. However, it was used as a poorhouse instead until 1963. One of the best preserved parts of the castle is the St. George Chapel, consecrated in 1489. Over the years, many nobles were in charge of construction of the fortress. Their names and coats of arms are enshrined on the ceiling of the chapel, painted in 1747. Today, the castle is used as an event space for concerts, weddings, and art exhibits. The funicular was built in 2007, and it takes 33 passengers 1 minute to reach the castle. Out in the rain again and looking for cover. It's a miracle. Ljubljana Cathedral is right here. Belfries were built in 1705 and 6. This side door is contemporary and features the portraits of 20th century bishops of Ljubljana. The church has been on this site since 1262. This cathedral was built between 1701 and 1706 and consecrated in 1707. Much of the Baroque decor remains original from the early 18th century. The organ loft is a Baroque masterpiece, with the organ pipes surrounded by golden angels and cherubs playing brass and string instruments. Ceiling frescoes feature several figures leaning against and falling from fake architectural elements and 2 false domes. All in all, a very nice way to get out of the rain. We emerge to blue skies. Next to the cathedral is the Bishop's Palace, built in 1623. The cathedral in the background, this is the Roba Fountain, built in 1751, another symbol of the city. It stands in front of the town hall. The town hall was built in 1484 in Gothic style. Between 1717 and 1719, the building underwent a Baroque renovation. This map of Ljubljana is as it was in the 17th century. Back in the street, the cobblestones are drying out and people are coming out. Tasha says, I wanted you to try something special as we duck into a small shop. These are potiča, a traditional festive pastry of Slovenia. It's a rolled pastry filled with a variety of fillings: walnuts, hazelnuts, poppy seed, or fruit. Potiča are baked in a potičnik, similar to a bundt pan. We wander down some of the numerous narrow side streets, and the castle looms over it all. We come out on Congress Square and another Baroque church. The Ursuline Church of the Holy Trinity was built between 1718 and 26. Short distance away is Republic Square. It's surrounded by modern buildings and filled with bears. On one side is the National Assembly building, the legislature of Slovenia. The bears are part of an art exhibit called the Art of Tolerance, the Buddy Bear exhibition. Each buddy bear is a unique design by a different artist on behalf of their native country. So far, the Buddy Bears have staged 35 exhibits on 5 continents. As of this date, The project has raised 2.5 million euros to aid UNICEF and local children's relief organizations. Rain's beginning to fall again, so we hurry back to our hotel. Our boat ride has been canceled due to the high water from the rain. In the hotel restaurant, we tucked into some elegant dishes inspired by local ingredients. This is bohin trout with celeriac cream, Swiss chard, and glazed mushrooms. Perry went for the kirschkapola pork neck fillet, glazed root vegetables, and sauteed cabbage.